the first Friday, officially, I guess, where I'm on Foundry VTT version 10. And you've been on Foundry 10 for a long time, since we were
Yeah.
doing Molten K. Yeah.
Yep.
And I anticipated that I was going to need some time. And I ended up needing some time, for sure, for my migration. And I'm not exactly sure why I needed so much time, but I definitely wound up, yeah.
That's part I want to figure out today.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how long did it take you to transfer one game over? Because you just had Molten K going, right?
Yeah, I just had Molten K going.
Okay.
And for me to switch over, yeah, it's a lot of going through mods and stuff like that. But I was at the time I was still keeping everything up to date up to the point of 9.
Right.
And 10 hadn't been out for too long, and I was waiting for certain things to get upgraded up to 10 before I switched over.
Right.
And so the whole process is it took me maybe like a day or two to get that one game going. But that was because I did a lot of trial and error of testing out stuff. But for the most part, the first day when I transferred over, things were fine. It's just you gotta the problem is that because we have so many mods, you want to turn off everything first.
Yeah.
You want to back up first.
Well, I noticed the Forge actually forced a backup this time.
Yes, they do that. Yeah. When I upgraded, they did it. I backed up myself, and then when I went to go do it, it's like, hey, we're gonna make you another backup. So they made it, back up everything before you even upgrade your mods. Right. Then you want to open up in safe mode, your world in safe mode, so it turns off all your mods and it makes you not on a scene. Then you want to exit out that game, and then upgrade everything. And then you want to go log back in, and then slowly turn on mods. But when you do that with all your other games, that means you have to go into every single game, open up everything into what you call it mode, and then I don't know how you do it because I know you have different. Your games are all different in terms of settings too.
Oh yeah, it was rough. It was real rough. I mean, I'll walk you through what I had to do if you.
Yeah, let me see.
All right.
Go for it.
Okay, so I went to the Forge and I said, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to switch over. And I have it set up so that all my games of the same type are synced onto the same version. So right away, it was like, okay, we're going to make everything Foundry 10. So just so you know, everything's going to be Foundry 10. I didn't get to choose per game. It was the way I have my hosting set up. It's all one or it's all the other. So I was like, yeah, let's go 10. What I did is I started with my one-shot server. And I really don't know if that was the best move. Because that, as you just pointed out, has different settings than everything else. And I use that to run so many different types of one-shots and so many different types of games that the settings were just a mess. And I didn't realize how bad those settings were until I ran my playtest one-shot or whatever. I did like a little Monster Hunter Monster of the Week, fighting Rajang or whatever. And I realized right away, I was like, oh, the settings on this are terrible. Because it was also set up for multiple DMs, right? Because we had multiple GMs jumping in and out to help with the Kobold adventure and the other stuff. So permissions were all over the map, things were all over the map, compendiums were all over the map. It was just a mess. And I was like, my intention was to use Forian's environment mod to clone everything. Yeah, except for calendars. I wasn't going to clone the calendars because the calendars are all customized per campaign, and they have their own custom events on every calendar. So even if they have the same calendar, they have different calendar events. They're in different times on the calendars, so I couldn't afford to overwrite my calendars. So I gave up on the test world, or not the test world, the one-shot world, and I just made a fresh Foundry 10 world. And then I basically started the whole process over, and I went from A to Z, just down the list of modules, and I looked. You remember when we did that stream where we went over all the modules that we use?
Yeah.
I basically went through all these modules, all 245 modules, and I checked every setting on every single one. And I was like, this is going to be what I clone over to all the other games. So, like, I want to make sure that this is exactly how I want it to be and I need it to be. And even then, as you saw last night, there were still some things that were a little weird, right? Like, the interactions with mods and Lancer, I think, are a little weird. So I kind of have to check those. My test world was using Carousel, because the first game I was going to run, the first two games, I think, that I was going to run were my Curse of Strahd, and then my classic Curse of Strahd, which is on Carousel, and then Monday's game, which is still on Carousel. So I wanted to make sure that was solid, and I didn't even check to see how the settings were going to be with Lancer until we were live and using it. So what I did is, there's a mod called Forians, which has been around since like version 6 or whatever, and it's called Library-Forians Copy Environment. And I set the world up exactly how I wanted to. Then I turned off calendar. I turned off calendar, and did I turn anything else off? No, I didn't. And then I copied the world, and then what I did is I made a second test world to see how Forian's copy environment would work. And then I copied the stuff over to the test world, and that's when I realized that it was also copying all of the Cub settings and also copying all of the convenient effects settings. So I actually ended up zeroing out my convenient effects, which I had a lot of custom effects, and then it also zeroed out all my Cub effects. So then I had to go to a world that still had those intact, and I had to rescue them, and I had to rebuild them in the test world so that they would be cloned over when I did the copy environment or whatever. And then at that point, I was like, well, I've been talking about cleaning this shit up for a year or more, ever since Convenient Effects came out. Yeah. So I was like, I might as well do it now, because if I'm going to clone it, those changes will be reflected on every single world. So so I cleaned up my effects so that we only have what I think is a pretty small amount, and they're all kind of general things, like just, turning on colors and stuff like that. Everything else got moved over to Convenient Effects, and what I love about Convenient Effects is that you can drag them down to your hotbar. And so things that would have been me having to select the mini, right-click the mini, click on the thing, go to the effect, with Cub, now I can just say, Burger is frightened, and I click this button, and then because I made fear a nested effect, I can just choose what level of fear he has, and boom, it just activates it. That was real nice. Something I didn't anticipate was, hey, what's up, Butler Log? One thing I didn't anticipate was, again, all the issues I'm experiencing with Lancer. I have convenient effects that have durations, but since Lancer doesn't accurately track the passage of time, all of those time-dependent things seem to be sort of in limbo, I'm noticing. So, I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if that's a setting on my end that I did wrong, or if it's just something that is a side effect of using Lancer. So
it's probably a side effect of Lancer not being updated for a while.
Yeah.
Because it should before we moved forward.
Or because Maya had an effect that we were using that was a timed effect, and it was timing out, and we were using convenient effects before I switched over, and we weren't having them randomly disappear on us.
And that one I had to update because it was timing out when it wasn't supposed to, because I had it set to have a time when it's not supposed to have a time. That's why it was timing out.
Okay.
And it was set for one round. I used to time out. The problem is that Lancer's saying that, okay, at the end of that character's turn, that's the end of their round. And that's what's causing it to mess up. And it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to stay to the next round. And I think that might be just a issue with Lancer not being updated in a long time.
Yeah, and that's kind of a shame, because I want to be able to use convenient effects, but if we're going to randomly be losing status effects, that means that our more common ones that are turning themselves off, I'm going to have to build custom versions anyways. which kind of stinks. Yeah.
I would. Yeah, it would be one of those things where you just don't put the duration on it and just tell people, hey, when it's off, you right click on your little bar at the top.
These nested effects are amazing because look at this one. I have one called injuries, right? So I select burger, I hit injuries, and then sorry, that's the one that rolls for injuries. I have one called injuries master list, and then I can go in here and I can select any of these from the drop down. And then it just applies it. So you could categorize all your stuff. I think I have one called movement. And it's just stuff that like messes with your movement. Let me see. I think it's called speed. Speed lowered. So if I click on speed lowered, I can do a ray of frost. I can do speed -5, -10, -15, -20, immobilized, and slowed. But you could also add to that list. You could put haste in there. You could put freedom of movement. You could have everything related to speed in one drop down, which is pretty awesome. So I think over time I'm gonna probably replace as many things as possible with convenient effects, just because I use Monk's hotbar edition that allows me to have all my hotbars open at once. So I have this nice like switchboard down here that I could just go down to and select whenever I need. And you see I play with like a real high resolution. So I mean I have
it's really small. It's barely take up any space.
Yeah, so I have plenty of room to have all 5 rows open like all the time. Yeah. Man. So let's see.
So I guess I'll ask this question. So did you check out any of your worlds before copying them over and seeing how they were set up after you upgraded? So upgrade, open up your other world, and just take a look at what's inside there before you copied stuff.
Well, I had to do the copy because I had to open them before the copy anyways, because you have to enable Forians to use Forians.
Do the copy,
yeah. So every single world had to what I think of as it had to bake. So I had to go and say, hey, I want this world to open in Foundry 10, and it's like, okay, did you back it up? Well, even if you did, I'm going to back it up for you. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to try to open it. And then you sit there and you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and finally it like opens up, and then there's a bunch of pop-ups, and they're all like, I'm trying to build this shit, I'm building this, and I'm building that. Don't touch anything, or I'll break. Don't touch anything. So I had to wait for all 6 worlds, right, to run through those steps, and then I had to go and I didn't check the core settings or anything, because Forians actually this time around was doing a really good job of copying over those settings, which is really cool. And
the main reason why I was gonna ask is because if you put the world into safe mode beforehand, right, and then update it to 10, have all your mods updated, then open the world. And then just start turning them on. Your settings should have stayed the same from before you even upgraded.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And I know that was an option, but I was also at a point where like all of my worlds were out of sync. So for example, like I was having some issues with certain mods in Red Handed Doom that I wasn't having in any of my other games. And I was having like I had different convenient effects in some worlds than I had in other worlds, and I had different cub effects in some worlds than I had in other worlds, and I wanted to take this opportunity to sort of unify, unify everything.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to switch versions of Foundry more than I have to, and I figured if I'm going to be putting in the work, I should put in the extra work to kind of zero everything back out. But yeah, I understood that I could go in and do that, and when I logged on, I was getting a pop-up message that said, hey man, I remember the settings for this. Do you want me to just, use the settings for this? Do you want me to restore the settings for this? So I don't know if that was from a mod that was actually causing that to happen. Was that another Monk thing? Okay.
Yeah, that's a Monk thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was really convenient. So it was like, hey, your imported it even said like your imported settings want me to do this, but my saved settings tell me to do that, and I had to actually go and tell it like, no, I really do want to overwrite these. So I thought that was pretty nice to have that in effect. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. In many ways, I think performance on 10 is much better. There are some things that I think drag a little bit. I found the calendar really dragged last night. Like, just trying to advance the time and things like that, it was really hanging on my end while I was trying to advance the clock and stuff like that.
Do you have? Well, I in CyberPunk, in Monster Hunter and in CyberPunk, I was testing them out both. Yeah. And I noticed that the reason why it was slowing down a lot in Monster Hunter is because I also had other mods that were like tracking time for like status effects and stuff like that.
Well, like convenient effects and stuff.
Yeah, so every time I advance time, it's like calculating before it moves forward. But like in CyberPunk, if I hit the time thing, it's like back in the day when there wasn't.
Yeah. You could just like blaze through. You could just like boop 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 boop, and
the only thing that really is still slow, no matter what, is changing the day. Like if I go to dawn, like I hit the dawn, the thing doesn't move over.
Right, because there's so many things. Yeah, there's so many things tied to the passage of a day, even in even in CyberPunk, right? There's So I don't know. There's a lot of things that I really like about it. I didn't really have a choice at this point. A lot of my mods had just sort of given up, which is exactly what happened last time, right? Like I just kind of like waited until my key mods stopped working, and then it was like, well, I guess it's time. Like token mold just stopped working, which is weird. I don't know why token mold just stopped working, but
I don't understand. That was a weird one.
So token mold stopped working. A couple of other ones stopped working. So I was like, might as like I already said I was gonna do it, but man. Originally, I had scheduled 4 hours on Monday and 4 hours on Tuesday, and I was hoping to just get it knocked out in 2 4-hour blocks. And ironically, I think it only took 8 hours total, but because I ended up waking up early every morning on my fucking staycation, and then working on it early in the morning, it felt like so much longer than 2 4-hour blocks. Like, I had planned to do like 2 4-hour streams, and then that was it. But my kid didn't have nearly as many plans on spring break as I thought they would, and I wanted to spend as much time with my kid as possible. So I was like, I'll just work on the Foundry stuff around whatever free time I have. That's not family stuff. And so it felt kind of bad. It felt like I was trying to take a week off from running games and Foundry, and I was doing it every day anyways. So I was pretty salty about that, and it made me kind of like feeling kind of sour grapes about on Roll20 when they run updates, I would just be like, well, I guess I can't do anything about it. It's out of my hands. But with Foundry, things are in your hands. You know what I'm saying? If you host your own stuff, they're literally in your hands. Like, you control everything. And so I couldn't turn around and just be like, oh, well, I said I was going to upgrade, but I'm not really going to upgrade. And then, we're just going to play with half our mods broken and, watch this thing slowly fall apart. Like, I was committed to doing it, and I wanted to do it, but in the moment, I didn't feel like it was an enjoyable process at all. Like, probably my most enjoyable moments during the migration was learning more about convenient effects and nested effects and kind of cleaning that stuff up. That felt good. I was like, this is gonna be nice. Well, like, so
I guess jumping off of that, I guess let's go over some cool stuff that you may not realize about V10.
Yeah. All right.
So first thing I wanted to show you was the new group actor.
Okay.
So if you go over to the actors tab and create a group, create an actor.
I'll zoom in a little bit here. There we go.
Instead of player characters, is now a group one.
Okay, so I'm in the player characters folder, and I just click new actor.
Yeah.
And now group. All right. And what do we call it?
I don't know. Do we have a cart? No, we don't have a cart, right? I don't know. Make it the you are here.
Party token?
Make it the you are here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, party token.
Yeah, we'll call it party token for now. Okay. So what do we do here? What is aggregate hit points, movement?
So
what are we looking at?
So you can start dragging tokens into it.
Okay. So let's see. And Esmeralda. Even NPCs?
Yeah, you can drag NPCs.
Oh, nice.
So say we're picking our B team, and we're picking our group. You
just
drag everybody inside the party, and now we know whoever.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yep. And it even tells us the whole entire party's HP too.
Oh, that's wild. Your HP across everybody.
Yep.
Oh man.
We have an inventory as well. So if we have a party inventory, it will pop up in there. I think it actually might. I'm not sure, but I think it might actually. Can you click on the inventory and see if it shows everybody else's inventory inside of it, or if it's its own inventory? I think.
Yeah, I'm clicking it right now. It's not doing anything.
It's its own inventory. But yeah.
What's pretty good. What's this movement? Is this just like the overall movement of the party?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, then we could do the you are here. Then I could drop this. I have on the DM's map that's highly detailed and like explains exactly where everything is. That's where I go to calculate your guys' travel times. So I could just swap this out for that. Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So that's a new thing.
All right, that is pretty slick. All right, what else we got?
I don't know if have you tried out the new Vision stuff?
Yes. So I watched a video by Axiom that was very comprehensive about it, and we were using it last night actually inadvertently because I limited the vision range on the scene, and then that made it so when the fog dragged somebody up into the fog, like up into the air, you guys couldn't see them because it was too high, and I was very happy about that. I thought that was super cool. Yeah.
Another cool thing is if you
which also means that wall height actually matters now for vision, right? So you can actually see a person that's hovering above a wall. Yeah. So if we dropped a wall down right here, and I set the height to be 20 feet. So is wall height now built into Core Foundry?
It's part of it's still being updated, but I think Ripper owns it now.
All right. You apparently can't see because there's no lights on the scene. How unfortunate. All right, hold on. All right, there we go. So yeah, you can't see this dude, and this dude can't see you. But then if this guy floats up 25 feet, he can see you. Oh, I thought you'd be able to see him.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it works that way. Wall height wise, it works with the perfect vision limit though.
Right.
Not by wall.
Okay.
Yeah, but one thing that does work now is that if he's standing there and if you drag him in front of the wall, back in front of the wall.
Right here.
And you have him turn invisible, like the actual status effect invisible.
Oh yeah. There we go. Boop.
Yeah, and then if you click on look through N, she can't see him anymore.
Well, I mean, I'm DM, but yeah, I got it. But then if I turned on her vision and I gave her, where do we got? Tremor sense, for example. She should be able to tell that he's there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But then if he lifts him off the ground, it will actually shut down the tremor sense.
So you see the purple buttons right next to you? I think one of them is the GM vision.
Oh, yeah. I gotta turn that one off. Here we go. Alright. No, I think I had GM vision on.
You want to turn it off if you want to see... There's, I think it's in the lights.
Oh
no. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I have it off.
Oh, you had it off. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's not. I wonder why it's not working for you, because I know when I tested it out as a GM, it would actually turn them off while I'm looking through a character's vision. It wouldn't show them for me.
All right.
I wonder if that might be a perfect vision setting.
Maybe.
But either way,
Or maybe I got no. It's under detection mode, I think. So if I go to basic, it turns back on. But if I go to detection mode, I can add. Field tremors out to 60 feet. There we go.
Also, my tremor sense was set to 0 too.
So there you go. You can see. I'll zoom in. you don't get to see what it is. You just get to see that there is something there, which is so immersive for Tremor Sense. It's so cool. Yeah. And then Blind Sight, same deal. You get like a general sense of who's there, but you see it in like Daredevil black and white vision, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So I'm very excited about all the vision updates. Are really, really cool.
They added a couple of new light animations as well.
I didn't check any of those out yet. I've just been kind of leaning. I did notice that all my lights are pretty blown out in the migration. Yeah. And I noticed that all of my weather, yet again, is cranked up too high. Not so high that it breaks everything, like the transition from 7 to 9, where it literally broke all my shit. But it's still like pretty bad. Like this scene right here, I had to go in and I had to drop it significantly because it was spawning so many clouds it was almost breaking the browser. Yeah, so that was a little unfortunate. And I have a script that strips away weather effects, but I don't want to have to strip all the weather effects away. It sucks. You work hard to set like the tone of a scene, and then having to adjust it. But yeah, the light intensity I definitely feel is much higher in 10 than it was before.
Well, one thing that can do now is that you could just select all those lights as one and hit Shift E and edit them all at one time.
That is true, but you can't do that globally though, right? You could do it in this scene.
It'll do a scene, in the scene, yeah.
Which is still pretty awesome.
Well, actually, I think they did add something that you can change. You can search. They did. There was an update to mass edit that lets you select stuff outside of scenes. Like you can.
Now, is mass edit is under advanced? Is that where we go for mass edit?
No, you shift E.
Shift E, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's and that's where you can change.
Get sent to darkness right now.
All right.
Update myself.
Okay, so if I wanted to turn all these lights blue, for example, I could apply it all at once, and they all turn blue, which is pretty cool. Now, it was interesting that you, that this feature that you guys kind of were like, oh yeah, don't forget that you can do this mass edit, because like a couple of days before I found out that Foundry 10 did this mass edit, I was still on Foundry 9, and I had a scene where like there were these creatures that weren't the creatures that you would think the creatures are, if you know what I'm saying. And in order to not give it away, I put down the creatures that you thought they were. They were werewolves, Dom. They're fucking werewolves. So there were some wolves, and they were actually werewolves. And so I was using regular wolves. So if the party like moused over them or tried to like spy on their stats or whatever, they would be wolves for all intents and purposes. But then when they started to fight them, they got swapped out for werewolves. And yeah, I could have used Foundry's polymorph functionality to do that. But I also now could have taken like the wolves and just turned them into other actors, right? Yeah, so I could have had some regular ass wolves here, and it's like, oh, the regular ass wolves, no problem. And then it's like, oh yeah, and then we go ahead and grab everybody and do the mass edit. And one of the options is to change the represented actor. So you keep those same names that are shown, but then you could swap them out for a bunch of werewolves. And I just thought that was like super cool. Like, and now when I click on them, I open werewolf stats instead of wolf stats, and I was like, damn, that would have been so useful. And it's going to be useful in the future. But what a great mod, what a great feature. Now, is mass edit, is that a mod that we installed, or is that
is a mod? Okay. Yeah, that is a mod. Yep.
I know that whatever you guys told me to grab, I was pretty much grabbing. So
it should be hopefully they put it in as a core feature, because it's that and select tool everywhere. I don't know why those aren't core features in Foundry.
I can't believe select everything is not a core yet, which is weird. But pop out isn't even a core yet. So
nope. So another thing about the lighting, they added in the advanced. They have an advanced tab for lighting now, and inside there is a new there's a bunch of scrolling wheels there, so you can change the contrast of lights. You can
Right.
change the shadow.
Well, they've had this since 9. They've had the advanced features since 9.
Yeah, one of the things they did update was the attenuation, which is the smoothness that the light transitions between. So remember how back in the day when we had blitz lighting and it was like the most realistic lighting ever? It's not that level yet, but it's really close to it now. If you turn up the attenuation.
Okay, so if I turn on some red lighting, but I have attenuation all the way up at...
Yeah, turn it all the way up, yeah.
At 1. Okay, but if I turned it all the way down, it would look...
It'd be really hard, hard light.
Yeah, it looks like a little pie wheel. Alright. Yeah. Ooh, that is nice. Can you teach Foundry to just always have attenuation at 1, or do you have to manually change it every time?
You have to manually change it every time.
Wow. Yeah. All right.
It defaults at 5.
A pity. Oh man. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with these lights. I can't tell you too much about things I've used them in because it would be spoilers for other games. But I have been using the advanced options for lighting. But the attenuation is really nice, so that's cool.
Now, I was going to tell you about journals, but you're using Monk's journal, so it's very different.
I kind of hate it too. I don't
like it. I don't like Monk's journals. I like the new Foundry 10 journals, but I know you're using it for
shops,
merchant.
Well, what if we turn it off when we're not in town, and then I just turn it back on when we are in town? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that could work. That could work too.
Yeah, because here, I'll turn it off right now, because it also runs really poorly in Foundry 10. Like, it's dragging and lagging when you try to load it. Here, I'll turn it off. I'm not as big of a Monk fanboy as a lot of the other GMs on our server. I think a lot of the GMs on the server, if Monk made a mod, they would be like, they'd just use it automatically. But I don't know. Some of the stuff is great, and some of it I feel it's just a lot of bells and whistles that you didn't actually ask for.
I mean, his thing is like the big description of his mod is that, hey, these are the things that I like to use.
Yeah, which is cool.
And that's kind of why he split them all the way up like this, because he realized that people don't want to use everything.
My players use toggle light cantrip, toggle torch, toggle lantern macro. I'm concerned they will reset any brightness changes I make each time they toggle.
They will.
That's
Brotherlog, they will. Unless you go in and update the macro, it will reset it. Like I had to go through and update the light macro that I was using before for Monster Hunter to like use the correct torch and flickering light thing.
Well, turning off journals seems to have made it very upset.
I'm back in.
Oh, you're back in already? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Why is it taking me so long? Alright, hold on. Let me see what I could do. Are you on the same map that I'm on? Or are you...
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm on the dashboard.
I'll move you to that map then. I'm sorry. Let's see. It's trying to load me in. That was something else I did have happen. That white screen of death, I got that a lot when I was toggling mods. Like, because I would toggle them in waves, And, man, I must have white screened without fail. Every time I turned calendars on, it would white screen the world. And I don't know what that was about, but like I got completely kicked out of the world like every time. So even now I'm not like loading back in. I might have to like stop the server and start it back up again.
Yeah. I wonder why I was able to get back in so fast then.
Well, maybe you're in but not like really in.
I'm able to open up journals and stuff, but
let
me see if I can make a roll.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe able to make attack rolls too.
Dang. Must be nice. Let me see. Launch game.
What else is there? Cards are still the same.
Yeah, I was really hoping for better cards. I really was.
I got a few mods to help with them. Like there's one called Card Tiles where you can just drag a card out from the normal card stuff, and it just makes a tile on the floor. And if you have Monk's active tiles, you can just click on it and it'll flip it over. But other than that, it's like
There we go. I'm back in.
Man, I can't see anything. Just some what you call it?
Oh, because I switched you over to Tremor Sense.
Yeah, I just see Tremor Sense now.
I wonder. Oh, okay. So let me go to your vision. Oh, basic vision. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
So I can see Burger right now because I have Tremor Sense. It's just making him pink.
Oh, interesting.
Because he's invisible.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Now, if you made him fly, he would disappear for me.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't see him now.
Oh, very slick. Yeah, I really appreciate how smart it's gotten with that sort of stuff, because that is huge immersion. I feel like that's what elevates that above playing IRL. Like, you lose a lot when you play online, so being able to gain these kind of things to compensate is really nice.
Yep.
Let's see, what else we got in Foundry 10 that we didn't have before? I have this Beaver's looting and crafting system. I ran out of time on my spring break. I did not even begin to look through that stuff.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, it feels like nobody's like been able to do any crafting yet. And then in my one game where they do a lot of crafting, Barnabas just kind of handles that shit himself. So like, I don't know if I need to learn an entire mod and then like customize an entire mod just for crafting if we're not actively crafting like all the time, you know?
I mean, hopefully we'll get a chance to do it in Curse of Strahd, because everybody here, like, I made Anna Crafter.
Yeah. And you guys are finally getting some good materials too.
Yeah.
Like those drops last night were pretty good drops.
Yeah, we gotta find some recipes and get some downtime.
Right.
But, let's see.
Yeah. Let's see. What else was interesting? Oh, I took this opportunity to kill my multiverse compendiums.
Yeah.
Yep. We're done.
I had to kill mine too.
Yeah.
When I jumped to 10, it was like, hey, it wasn't even showing up in the list because it was so old.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame to lose like 5,000 monsters, but at the same time, the copy paste from PDF mod, the import stat block is so powerful. It's so powerful. Like, why would I even want those old monsters? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I could grab anything I need from anywhere now, and I mean, it's at least as good. Even when it's bad, it's at least as good as a Giphy Glyphs import. So you know, if you just go and you clean it up real quick, not a big deal. Yeah, somebody had like a stat block for Godzilla, and I was just like, yeah, it was like the most broken, stupid thing I've ever seen. So I was like, ah, man, let's add that, and I went and like just copy pasted the whole stat block in. It's fantastic. But like purchasing stuff too, like I'm not afraid anymore to purchase like homebrew monster manuals. Because I'm just like, oh, okay, if I like this monster, I'll just copy and paste it into Foundry. It has to be one of my absolutely favorite mods right now is the import stat block. It's so good. So I was very happy that import stat block was still working in Foundry 10.
Mm-hmm. And they've been keeping it up to date as well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like that's going away.
Let's see. I've got to add terrain ruler back in. I forgot to add terrain ruler.
So there's actually one thing that I tried to start using, and I kind of like it, but it was also kind of suspect. Is the with drag ruler? There's now a drag ruler that's integrated for specifically D&D 5e, so that makes it so that if you are elevated, it starts using your fly speed.
That's nice.
So there's that, and it's supposed to be smart with terrain layer, so that if your terrain is ground and you're using fly speed, it doesn't trigger.
See, and that's why we ended up turning it off. In a lot of my games, people had gotten to the point where we were flying all the time, and and all that stuff. And then we got rid of the whole like allies are difficult terrain, and it just ended up being like more of a hassle for most people. But if there's a smarter way to do it, I'd love to see it. So that'd be cool.
So there's that, and there's also now automatic routing too. So like you can click and drag in one direction, and it will automatically route you around walls and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
Now the problem with that is that if we're in like a dungeon, I can just drag myself through a wall, and it's going to show me.
Oh.
You know, the route to do it. So that's the dangerous part about it. I started using in CyberPunk to get people to go around walls, because most of the time, you know, you're not in dungeons in CyberPunk. You know,
right? Yeah,
you're in like a building with some hallways, and if you want to move to the room, then you want to move to the room. But it won't put if there's no route for you to get there, it won't do it. So if there's a door in the way, it's not going to put you through it. And it's not gonna you know, move you up to the door. You have to drag you still, it has to be an area you can actually get to, even if you can't see it. But it will show you the route that you're going to take to get there, and it will calculate all the distance and stuff like that. So it's pretty good. But you know, it might be kind of dangerous. Like they even put a warning in the settings, like, hey, if you turn this on, just know that, you know, it might spoil some routes to places if things aren't blocked.
Yeah, I'll probably just leave it off then, because again, like I feel like you automate too much and you're not really Dungeons and Dragons anymore, right? Like you're doing a video game at that point, which isn't necessarily bad, but I just don't want to be there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The
main reason why I thought about it is because I always see people struggling to like move around corners.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. Like
they want to cut corners, but you live in a grid-based world. You got to respect the fact you're in a grid-based world.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, but you know, they drag to try and cut that corner, and then the computer says, okay, we'll move you over. You know, we'll move you the way you need to, so you don't. It doesn't say, hey, there's a wall there, and you have to constantly keep trying to drag.
I mean, I'm having to move like four tokens around every Tuesday night as a player. I mean, I don't, in a dungeon no less. Like I know how bad it is. I know how bad it is.
Yeah, would you rather just select them all and move once, and then you just route to where it needs to go? Especially since your map, your what you call it, fog of war in the map, so you know.
Oh, that would be nice, actually. Yeah, that would be nice. So I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where maybe not. I'm okay with it in CyberPunk because there's no dungeons, but I don't think I would turn it on in a D&D or a Pathfinder game.
One thing I didn't check, and I'm going to be heartbroken if it didn't save them, is my voice actor stuff. I think my voice actor stuff all got wiped in my migration.
I think Monk has voice acting now too.
Oh, and they might be fighting with each other?
Yeah, because I think Blitz hasn't made a mod or updated a mod in like...
I know, but like
the beginning of 9.
But I was using Blitz, and I had all the goddamn voices for all the characters saved, and now I don't have it, and that's very sad. So I guess we're gonna be like changing character voices like mid-campaign, because I don't know. I mean, there's honestly not that many character voices to begin with, but it's nice to kind of have some consistency, which is what I was using the tool for. But Things that I'm enjoying, I like chat portrait. I didn't have that before, so I like seeing everybody's picture next to their stuff in chat. Also, you can click their picture and it takes you to them in chat, which I think, or not in chat, in the world. So if I want to know where Burger's at, I can just double click his picture in chat and it'll go over to Burger, which I don't know. I thought it was pretty neat. Let's see. I tried party resources, but I couldn't really get into it. I felt like it was like it relied too much on everybody doing everything the same way, and I just don't know if that works for our groups. I feel like I feel like it's hard to get. It'd be like herding cats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's why when I did it for Rhyme, I was the one who controlled it. And I just said, okay, you guys used long rest. Okay, I'm subtracting your rations.
Smart. Yeah, that's actually really smart. But then you didn't really worry about who was carrying the rations after a certain point, right? Yeah.
No.
So, and as we know, as you know, rations are real heavy.
Yeah,
nothing scarier. Nothing scarier than finding out that encumbrance exists. That's what I've learned from Curse of Strahd. The scariest thing I've done so far as the DM in Curse of Strahd is enforce encumbrance. So, Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sad. It's sad that the bag mod broke.
It is.
And that was really good. We just figured it out. Spent all this time. We're like, oh man, you can unequip them, and that's us dropping our bag. And then next time we play, nope.
Butler, like we could draw stuff from a party token, but I want to enforce encumbrance in Curse of Strahd because I'm trying to take a more survival horror kind of angle to it, where you can't have everything you want and you have to make hard choices about what you take with you. Without too many spoilers, imagine there was a super dungeon hidden in the mountains or something, like a really dangerous location full of treasure, but it was like a really hard journey to get there. How are you going to get all that treasure home? There's no bag of holding, there's no nothing. So you got to decide, how am I going to, what do I take with me? What do I leave behind? You have your sled or your cart, and it's laden with all your goods, and then a Yeti shows up and fucking kills half of you and runs off with the sled or the cart. It feels bad, but it also is conflict. It's also scary because now you're up in these snowy mountains. You don't have any supplies. Half your people are dead and your equipment's been stolen. Even in Abomination Vaults, when my familiar dies, everything he's or not my familiar, but when my Eidolon dies, everything that dude's carrying falls on the ground. So we have to make tough decisions, like who's carrying what, and if we leave this thing behind or this person behind, we also leave all our equipment behind. It adds a lot more to it, in my opinion. It makes me feel a lot more involved, right? Whereas when equipment and encumbrance is just treated sort of like a back, you got stuff, it's fine. It doesn't have the same feel to it, It's like, yeah. Anyways, other things that I really liked about Foundry 10 once we switched over. Was there really anything else that I liked? I like Z-Scatter. I thought Z-Scatter was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea that people that are all sharing a space just start to space themselves out. I think that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It seems like
you need to get it for Pathfinder with all your little,
I need
summons.
I need a real bad for Path. I have a list of mods that I would really like the GM to pick up for Abomination Vaults for sure. Oh man. Let's see, what else was there?
I don't know. Since you're in now, I guess you can look at the journals if you've seen V10 journals.
I haven't seen them. So let me go to journals, and we'll open up our house rules, and we'll go to our dying and save or suck journal. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep. It even has little.
It's got bookmarks. Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Every time you put a header, it'll make a little bookmark on the side.
Now, what's this add a page? What's that?
So the way journals are, they're like books. So anytime you want to add a page to this journal, so I'll have a journal that says, I don't know, house rules. Yeah. And then inside there, you can just make pages for each of them, and then it'll be worked out in the little bookmark. But you can also make them the pages lets you change category. So instead of it just being text, you can have an image page. You can have a PDF page. Oh. You can have So if I were to add a page to here, there's video pages. There's some page called class summary. I didn't even know that thing existed. But yeah, there's also PDFs now built into Core Foundry. So you can add a PDF to it, and the pages can be individually given permission to.
Oh, individual permissions per page. So I could take all the house rules and just put them into one document if I wanted to.
Yep. And then when we open it up, it'll be house rules, and then there'll be a little bookmark, and we can click on what we need to look at.
Oh man, that's great.
And if they're set up in pages, you can look at individual pages at a time, or you can click the little button right at the top next to the search pages.
Yeah.
And it'll put them all in one long list, one long document, so you can scroll if you wanted to scroll and see the whole thing.
Well, that's awesome.
And even when you make pages, you can give them like a level. So level 1 pages will always be, kind of like top header. And level 2 pages will be, header 3, header 2, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dang.
Pretty good.
It sucks to have to choose between this and then having the shops working, because like I could find a different shop mod.
There's gotta be a different. Yeah, there's gotta be another.
But then I gotta rebuild all those fucking shops. There's a lot of shops. Like, look at how many shops there were. Where is it? Look at that. It's like 10 shops. Oh man. Oh well.
It's not like we have many money to use them anytime soon.
Dang. I mean, your group's poor for sure, but I mean, some people have money. Some people have money. Huh. I felt like the shop was cool because I enjoyed the shops in the Pathfinder game, and that's what made me want to start using shops, even though it was a little bit of work to set them up, because I didn't ever have to bother the DM about anything. I just like bought and sold my stuff, and it was all like taken care of. You know what I mean? And I thought that was really cool. So
yeah, I wish they had it built into, because in CyberPunk shops are built into the core game. In Pathfinder, they're built into the core game. So
yeah,
I wish they were built into here, but
yeah. And like, I think that the way his shops are set up are fantastic. The rest of that functionality is so poor. At least in Foundry 10, the performance is so bad. Like I really couldn't get anything to load last night. It felt like it was taking forever. When I was looking up status effects, normally they open immediately. And so to like not be able to do it, like, I was looking up confusion last night, right? Because you'd think by now I'd have this memorized, but I clicked it and it would take forever to load up. And even now it's actually moving a lot slower than it used to in previous Foundry. So, I don't know. This is running faster than what I was getting from Monks last night, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. Of course, that makes me think about last night's game and confusion, and then Pathfinder confusion versus D&D confusion, and like there's so much I wish like was different about 5e. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, let me see. Was there anything else new? Overall, I felt like the conversion over from 9 to 10 went really well, like much better than 7 to 9. 7 to 9 I think was pretty rough.
You jumped a whole
two generations.
A whole version.
Yeah,
two generations.
Two generations, yeah. This one I think I also waited long enough that everything I needed in 10 was already waiting for me. Which was my goal. So yeah, I think overall I'm pretty happy with how it went, and I don't think it was too bad.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're at time. Excuse me. We're ending a little bit early because you got a thing tonight. And I was running late for our earlier thing, but hey, we still got in almost a whole hour of chatting about Foundry 10. So yeah. Next week, we're not going to do a vodcast, but we are going to play the hell out of some Solasta tomorrow. So if anybody wants to hang out with us while we play Solasta tomorrow, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow afternoon. And then I have started playing Dragon's Dogma on Wednesdays. I'm looking forward to the next play session of that. So that's going to be pretty fun.
D&D on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Dragon's Dogma, yeah. So... Dark Arisen, it is Dragon's Dogma, but Dark Arisen, I guess, is like, it's like how Skyrim like continues to release like more crap, and then they rename like the.
So, Dark Arisen is the expansion for original Dragon's Dogma, but when they re-released it on PC, they just released Dark Arisen.
Okay, so am I missing anything by playing Dark Arisen?
No. Well, the only thing you're missing by playing Dark Arisen is the original opening music. The original opening music is like the most like over the top rock fantasy music.
Oh man!
Like,
all right, we'll have to
like-
look up. We'll have to
like
get the YouTube. We'll have the YouTube video at the beginning of next play session.
Japanese rock fantasy. Getting ready to go. It's really crazy and over the top.
Well, I feel like
That's
that would match the muscle midget character that we made. So
Yes, it would.
I just want someone to throw her like a cannonball. You know what I'm saying?
I was trying to tell you this in the. You can run up to people and hold R and grab them.
Okay.
The same way you grabbed that rock and tossed it.
Yeah.
You can do it to goblins.
So I learned real quick that
your pawns.
Yeah, not to get too far off Foundry, which we are right now talking about Dragon's Dogma, but it occurred to me very quickly that if the game ends when the main character ends, like the main character should probably not be the frontliner. Which is why I'm understanding like a lot of people are like, no, you got to play spellcaster, you got to stay in the back.
No, that's okay. You could be a frontliner. It's just what you got to do is now that you have burst strike. Remember, you there's no cooldowns to your abilities. So
as long as you have stamina, you can just do it.
And burst strike moves you forward, and it also knocks people down. So what you want to do is instead of sprinting to people to hit them, burst strike towards them.
Okay, all right.
They'll get knocked down, and then you can just smack them while they're on the floor.
Fair enough.
Fire's really good for that.
All right. I'm gonna try not to think about it too much because I'm having trouble not sneaking on there and playing it. That's the hardest part about only playing a game once a week is you only get to play it once a week. So, all right. Well, I will see you tomorrow for some Solasta. So you enjoy your Friday night, and everybody who hung out in chat, it's great hanging out, and I'll see you guys. See you guys next time.
Alrighty, take care.